Okay, everyone. Thank you. Namaste. We are on the road. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Namaste. You probably hear me twice, which I will control. Excellent. We have Christopher from last week. Hello, Christopher. How is weather like in Glasgow?
It's turned out not too bad tonight. It was horrible morning, but it's a lovely evening now.
That's nice. That's good. Is you having a good time?
Yeah. Yeah. All good up here. It's all good up here.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start. Does anybody have any questions from today, Michelle?
There were a few questions. And one actually, I think might have been asked at the end of the last Saturday evening's Sangha. Does anybody here on the Zoom platform have a question? Not yet. All right, let me give you the questions then, Yogi, that we have. This is a very broad question.
What do you mean broad?
What a very vast topic, I think. The question comes, it's only 3 small words. What is yoga?
Wow. This big topic it is. Because everybody is familiar with yoga, I'm pretty sure. But important part is that any question is not big or small, depending on the answering ability. How do I answer it? I can answer it into the one sentence that everybody knows off the internet. The yoga is yoga. You practice yoga or to create a unity, or to come from a word use or yoke, that is a widely available definition across the internet, across the yoga literatures, and basically the entire study practice is based on that. But something in theory is slightly different to in a practice. Nowadays, there's many types of yoga, you can call it. Yoga, there's many types, but actually they are not yoga, you can call it. They are not the types, but they're just only ideas created, packaged slightly differently to suit many people as per their ability or requirement. Because yoga itself is not, in my personal opinion, to start with, not a unity. Yoga is first makes you realize what actually you are trying to unite. It makes the awareness of the separation. Once you understand the awareness, or once you understand the separation, then you have a better unity. Otherwise, you just keep hammering the same word, unity, unity, unity. Point is, you are never separated in the first place. If you come from a place of separation, you have to create a unity. Means you can't say that I am the pure Atman, I am the same essence of God within you. So yoga actually makes you realize the separation of how far you are away from yourself. Outcome may appear as a unity, but yoga is the process through which you can realize your mental limitation, you can realize your physical limitation, you can realize how spiritually distant you are from yourself. You get to know more of yourself. So when you get to know more of yourself, you can do some action about it. You can take you can basically act upon it to fill that gap, to eradicate that gap from the practice. So yoga can be very spiritual. Yoga can be very physical. Yoga can be very mental. If you're practicing yoga with 3 stages, basically, your breath and body working towards to the physical aim. Second stage, your body and breath working to empower the mind. Third one, your breath and body is working to empower the mind, or the mind and the body working to work together to empower the breath. So breath is become the prime focus. You're using the mind and the body to work towards the breath, or you can use the breath and the body to work towards the mind, or you can use the mind and breath to work towards the physical body. But this is a practice mode. But what happens slowly, if you can drop breath doing its own work, body doing its own work, your mind doing its own work, and you silently witness, and that is actually a real stage of yoga. Through all the practices you do, it to reach that point of, which we call it in a non-duality perspective, Dristabhav, means you only have a witness of the process that you are doing, witness of the body, witness of the breath, witness of the mind, actions. There is no doing anymore, just only a witnessing left. And that is the ultimate part of yoga one can reach to. But if you say that I practice yoga by practicing few asanas, in my definition, not really. You're only practicing something to strengthen your nervous system, strengthen your physical body. So whatever actions you are doing, that can be a very productive and can be more mindful of them. If you think that you're practicing pranayama, you're practicing yoga, is more to create a more mindfulness and awareness of the subtlest part of your existence. This is breath. Again, it's not yoga. Yoga is when everything consolidated together. You're no longer doing it. It is happening. You are witnessing the mechanics of what is happening. That's what yoga is. But again, it is again very individual perspective. So if you make the yoga as a circus, people say everything yoga, then why practice? If anything done without awareness, is living basically a tamasic nature. Yoga is creating the vibration to rise up. Yoga creates more awareness of self-awareness or self-inquisitive about your existence. If yoga have not created that in the person who practicing, it not change anything. It just only becomes a different form of action you are just doing continuously every day. That makes sense to everyone who's up there. Does it make sense? Simplest way, some people, yoga is not also about punishment to yourself. If torturing your body, torturing your mind, or giving yourself as hardship as possible, and you think that is yoga, not really. Balance is yoga. If your existence is a completely extreme, that's not going to be very fruitful in practice of yoga. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says balance is a very important part. If you eat too much, you cannot benefit of yoga. You eat too little, cannot benefit of yoga. So it's basically this is one example of some people have seen they just over extreme themselves to not eat at all or overeat. So either way, it's need to find a mid ground. I think if you have watched my interview for on YouTube about when I produced the DVD first time, people ask, I see the life. If you see the life, if you live the complete extreme, means you're living at the one spectrum of your existence. Then you get tired of this, you literally jump to the other extreme. So you become a other side. Either you're totally material or totally spiritual. Material and spiritual, you're still living, you're still doing, you're still not fully balanced. The time you hold, neither you spiritual nor material, you hold it in the middle. You have a perfect balance, and that's what yoga teaches you. How to be in the body at the same time stay connected to the divine. Sometimes you are connected to the divine, completely disconnected to the physical reality, or the physical manifested yourself in the physical body. You're totally disconnected from it. That's not yoga. Yoga gives you ability to be in the body, understand the body, live through the body, same time stay connected with the divine. Find the very fine tuning between yourself, being in the body, material manifested, same time a spiritual connection to it. So let's say that you have a stick, you hold on to the one hand, or one end of it, you get tired. Then you change it, so maybe other end might be easier, you hold it to other end, you feel tired because your arm gives up. But only time, even if there's off skill, you will come slightly in, you will get tired, but later on. But only time you can hold something from very middle, completely balanced, if you take to the right mid-center. Your kendra, your center of existence, the time you arrive there means you are balanced spiritually, materially. There is both spirituality and materialism are the both existence of you. Who is material? You. Who is spiritual is you. Why worry about materialism? Why worry about spiritualism? It's more focus should be you, not being spiritual or being material. The focus should be being you. How can you be you as 100% pure witnessing of yourself, which is neither spiritual nor material. I believe your soul is neither material nor spiritual. I believe neither God is material or spiritual. God is just God. Energy is just energy. We label everything as per our requirement, good and bad, negative energy, positive energy, right or wrong. What is a negative for you might be positive for somebody. What is positive for you might be negative for somebody. So if it's right or wrong, good or bad, it should be exactly for everyone. So it becomes very individual. Is a one person's perception defines it. What is spiritual, what is material. So I will always believe that is a problem arrive when people or yourself, if somebody have decided for you, your life will never be in peace. Or you have decided for somebody else, you are not making their life to be easy and peaceful. So decide, not make any decision for anybody. Let them decide themselves, but you give them a broad possibility. You give them a broader picture as per their space, the awareness, the growth, and understanding. People involved, they will transform their behavior, they will transform their existence. But if you impose or decide, only will create a misery in society, create a misery in people's life. So simplest way I can say is try not to impose. You try to give them a broader possibility, broader prospect, and a clarity, understanding, and a vision for people to choose as per their level of consciousness, as per level of their awareness. Teacher or teaching does not mean you take a decision for somebody. You literally give them a possibility to create a self-analysis, create a possibility to understand themselves, to let them choose the path they like to walk through. So the most, if any spiritual practices tells you that you should be exactly this way, means you are likely to fail. If a spiritual practice tells you you should be in this narrow path, I guarantee you, you will likely to look around either side of the border, what is going on other end. Means you are not completely focused. If you're practicing a spirituality to be abundance, you're practicing a spirituality to be a no limitation of you, yet your belief system is limited, is going to create a problem. So what you can do is constantly try to create a self-assessment of your own actions, your own thinking, your own behavior, and learn. Try to transform your thinking, try to transform your actions, which will create a possibility to rise above, evolve, or a inner growth as well as outer growth, rather than you feeling tired, you feeling lethargic, limited, controlled, regret, guilty. All those things come from because either you're not fulfilling what was decided for you. You may disappoint people. So if only way as a human being, if you take away decisive factor or control, you create a more peaceful society, you create a more possibility for yoga to flourish. So yoga is not a control. If you think that yoga is a control, is a wrong practice. Yoga is more acceptance. Acceptance creates a more peace, creates more love in you, also around you. But if there is a control even on your own senses, you are likely to explode one day. You will be a greatest volcano that you have ever seen. So work on the self-acceptance, understand yourself, understand your limitation, and then try to transform. That's what yoga should actually help you. Not compete. You go to, let's say, asana practice. You go to yoga class. If you don't accept your ability, you try to push yourself as much as like your teacher, what will you do? You will injure yourself. That will be the end of it for you. Which is the most of the time cases are. If you go to asana practice, most people competing. Competition is not the subject of yoga. Competition is not subject of yoga. Competition is something created for you to be unstable. Competition is created for something for you to be constantly questioning your ability. So you are always in the race. So you can never be actually rooted. When you are not rooted, constantly moving either to chase happiness or run away from unhappiness or try to have something what you don't have, rather than try to sit down for a moment, even especially at the time of yoga, to understand what you have. Gratitude. But yoga does not have gratitude, it has a competition. I want to achieve. Achievement, you're great to achieve, but try to acknowledge what you have already achieved to create a santosha inside. That's what yoga can be very useful. So yoga is a intention. Your approach to yoga will define it, how fruitful the yoga practice becomes to you. So if you practice yoga with a constantly competition, insecurity, and with lack in the mind, yoga is not giving you any benefit. You're just doing physical exercise. So if you want to practice yoga, change your thinking, change your relationship, the way you view yoga. Okay. Any other aspect of it?
There was a question, you have answered it a little, but maybe you can elaborate. What does it mean then to practice yoga off the mat?
What does it mean to practicing yoga off the mat? Well, as I said, yoga, if you're practicing but not implementing, practicing yoga off the mat is implementation of the values of yoga. I give you an example. Is in your life or anybody's life, what happens when you get stressed? You don't breathe. You hold your breath. You get stressed. And you lose basically your nervous system accelerates, you start panicking, and you lose yourself. And then what happened? You walk away from the place. I have seen exactly the same behavior in a yoga practice. People are fighting, huffing, puffing, and also holding the breath inside. They forget to breathe. Let's take a yoga asana posture. The word asana is very difficult, complicated, unexpected, unusual, that you will not do that in your day-to-day life, that physical appearance of the body. But you are doing it, yet you are very calm, very mindful, breathing very simply, still holding yourself together, not have lost your what do you call it? Mental strength, your focus. But if you take the same scenario to your workplace or in your life where you are not practicing yoga, some situation is very difficult, very unexpected and unusual. How do you maintain calm and not lose your mind? That you just bring the same example of the yoga posture into your life. You can practice the yoga off the mat. Second part, negative aspect of it. When you get something really difficult in yoga, you cannot cope with the situation. What you do, you walk off the mat. Maybe either 2 feet, 3 feet, you walk up and down the yoga mat in the limited space available in the yoga studio. But by running away from the posture, walking away from the place where you're standing, it have not reduced the stress. It all have given your mind a psychology to go away because this place is problematic for you. It makes you really, really difficult. If in your life, if you don't have dharya, if you don't have the bravery inside to develop and face the reality rather than walking away from it, you will always be running away from the fact. Anything that gives you difficult or hard for you, you walk away from it. They come back to it again. You stop that mindset. In the life, there is a lot of things difficult, lots of problems there. Can be either situations that you cannot really cope at that time. But how do you remain calm? How do you remain in the same place but not lose your mind, not lose your awareness, or look for a distraction? It's always the case. Something hard comes along, you look for distraction to be distracted and come back again. And remove that, eradicate it. Yoga should have given you strength not to get distracted or look for a sidetracking so you can be very peaceful and calm. So if that ever happens to you in the yoga mat or if you're practicing any situation, it's very difficult. Your mind wants to run away. You cannot go with it. Take a few good breaths. Try to connect with the breath. Again, I described 3 ways. Your mind, body, the breath. 3 aspects, and yourself. There's 4 tattvas there. Yourself is completely unaware of it. Your bodies become the prime focus. Nothing to do with your Atman, your higher self. Your body becomes the prime focus. Your breath, your mind is working, make sure your body is safe. Or your body, your mind working that actually you are breathing. Sometimes it happens when you're meditating, you forget about breath, you're grasping for the breath. Am I alive or not alive? Your mind comes back to the body as well. The body reacts as well. And other stage is your mind, your body, and the breath is working to make sure your mind remains calm. So literally you are together. When all 3 become united, you may actually experience a bit of your Atman or the energy or the higher self. The mechanics of the inner intelligence. Mechanics of inner intelligence you can understand when you become aware of all 3 actions of all 3 same time. That's when you can actually start practicing yoga off the mat. So situations get difficult in your life. How do you bring the yoga principle? The same posture was the yoga mat was very difficult. You want to run away from the yoga mat. You are moving up and down, or you got distracted. You came out of the posture looking sideways, who's doing better than you, or some other distraction you can find. But how do you brought yourself back at the time, not walk away from it, try to bring the same principle in your day-to-day life practice. How you can be calm, how you can be yourself and still carry on being very peaceful. Did that make sense? Anybody have any questions from the YouTube? Anybody asking any question? Probably not. If you have anything, please do type it in. I can see.
There's another question that has come in, Yogi, related more to the energy parts of the body, with regards to when there are blockages in the body, for example, at the base chakra, which then affects all the other chakras. How through the practice of yoga can these blockages be removed?
Again, I will not work to the only the removing the one blockage. I will work with the body where your focus is a pinpoint focus. How do you know that you have a blockage at your base chakra? What is actually causing it? Your base chakra can be created, and energy can be blocked by your lack of confidence. Energy can be blocked by if the base chakra element can be affected by upper 6 chakras too. So which one you know is you have to focus to, because it came and reflected on the base chakra does not mean your base chakra is blocked. Is again the human mind like to cut a shortcut. That's what I'm feeling. I fix it. I give you example. There's a leak in the roof where the water coming inside is not doesn't mean exactly the same place your leak is. It can be coming from anywhere. So important part when you practice yoga, your body is very intelligent. Don't dumb it down. Point one. Your mind is very intelligent. It is only stupid when it's not connected with you. Remember that. Your mind can be very stupid. Otherwise, your mind is very intelligent. Can you imagine? Your mind drives you mental whole of your life and you claim it mind is stupid. I think mind is very smart and intelligent that have controlled you throughout your whole life. How can you call it a stupid? I call it pretty smart. So depend how you navigate through it. Second part is the energy currents inside the body. Where the outcome is does not mean where you came up to the know. Where the symptoms have appeared of blockage does not mean this is the place where the blockage is. What causing the blockage is a very important part. That's what the benefit of yoga is when you practice properly. Is makes the inner intelligence or the intelligence of your mind, intelligence of your body, and infused by the prana, the breath, it starts creating its own mechanics, creates its own inner chemistry to heal whatever is required in the body. So if you have find out the block in the base chakra, I will not recommend you to focus on the base chakra. I will focus you to practice yoga. Your body will find its way to purify to create the purity inside the body, need to stop your mind from problem fixing. If your mind is always looking for a problem fixing, not a growth. You only focus is a very short term. If you focus only, let's fix the base chakra, I'm perfectly okay. Not really. What caused it is the more important part than just fixing the base chakra. So, if there's any energy blockage in the body, blockages have appeared at any of the centers in the body, does not mean that is the prime source of the problem. So continue practicing in the most authentic, in the very mindful way of practice to enhance and heal the body, not try to see the problem in the body, but just aid the malfunction in the body. Something happens somewhere, appears somewhere else, so you go back to it, allow to make the inner intelligence to connect with the cosmic intelligence. That's what yoga does. It first awakens the inner intelligence, then it aligns the inner intelligence with the cosmic intelligence, and you become a Buddha. If you try to fix the inner intelligence, you cannot fix it because you are driven by the short-term profit. You are driven by the short-term plan. Your body is a long-term plan. It has its own intelligence. It has its own healing ability. It has its own inner mechanics. Allow them to operate as free as possible. The time your mind comes along to fix it, it creates more problem. Let your mind to be with the body. Let your breath to be with your body. You just observe the process of existence and practice our yoga at the time. And you create a healing ability. I hope that makes sense or might be productive for you. Is it understandable? Whoever asked that question makes sense to you? Anybody have any other question like to ask?
May I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So when, for example, one is in the tree posture, and so for me, it is quite okay to find a fixing point outside with open eyes and to find my balance. But as soon as I'm closing the eyes, somehow, my inner balance is not really there. I'm coming out of the posture. Is there any advice how to find a focal point inside or how to balance from inside?
What happens, the tree posture represent the two possibilities. Like look at the tree, okay, example. Rooted, really well rooted, and elevation. If your focus becomes only rooting, not elevation, you will lose the balance. If you focus just only elevation, not rooting, you will lose the balance. Basically, tree posture can actually align the bindus in the body. If your hands are down or in the prayer position, bindu goes from feet up to the head. Two bindus in the body. When you close your eyes, they try to self-align. They try to self-align, and if your body inside is not open, if you physically blocking the flow of the energy, if they don't get to align, you will lose the balance. So what you need to do, create an inner openness through your pelvis, through your lower back, and try to extend, at the same time create a gravity, elongation, become aware of the two spectrums of equally as you can. that can be very useful for you. Does that make sense?
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
So work with the gravity, same time the elevation part of it. Try to feel free, not control. If you feel controlled, restricted in the body, you cannot be free like a tree. So you just take the symbolism of tree and try to bring that principle into the yoga posture. And you can do with eyes closed. You will find a difficulty because your body is proportioned that high, but Bindu to the blockage of the physical blockage of the body that your mind have created to create a balance in the posture. Feet, it come down here. And you try to close your eyes. If this is not going to go up to the top, you will feel imbalance. So try to work with inside the body when you're doing the posture. Your whole body is hollow. Like example, you take the balloon there, you tie it up, and filled with air. If the inside is any tight is there, top part is actually not upright. So you need to have a two spectrum. You know, when you lie down, it goes up and down. When you come upright, it goes up, vertical, horizontal. You have two windows constantly moving, yin and yang inside the body. You have a two separation point, basically, in the body. Like each atom had separation. When the atom becomes dense, when the two windows collapse together, you become dead. So try to create a separation of two windows as much as you can, as mindful as possible. And it can be very useful for the practice. Try to bring that part. Especially you have that concept in Buddhism anyway. Anybody else have any question?
I have a question for you, Yogi.
Go ahead.
So when I was doing the Atma meditation the other day, I started to get quite a sharp pain just here at the top of my nose, and I wasn't quite sure what was causing it. It also kind of created a lot of pressure across my head. It's a bit like having my head quite deep underwater. My ears were hurting, but it's this pressure here on the top of my nose I really didn't understand.
Sometimes if there's energies flowing through, and you can have the pain at your eyebrow center area. If not due to meditation, especially in modern life, your eyes become completely square by looking at the screen or the mobile phone. And when you focus them together and bring them to a Sambhavi Mudra, it can trigger a certain stress, pain, but depend how much effort and how much stress you created at the time looking into Sambhavi Mudra.
So I don't physically look into Sambhavi Mudra because of the eye operation, so I don't do that anyway. But it was lower than it was lower than Agnya Chakra. It was actually the top centimeter of my nose, just here, not so much here, but here.
That it can be in the reaction of the sharpness, dryness of the air can also create the pain as well. The best thing you can do is place either 2 or 3 drops of sesame oil every day if you do meditate. If your nose cavity becomes dry, you can have the sharp pain too. That can also happen during the meditation. So I would recommend anybody who meditate, please do take advice. Take 2 drops of sesame oil. Be careful if you are allergic to it. There's lots of problems nowadays. If you are allergic to sesame, don't put it. Maybe take the mustard oil. If you are allergic to the mustard, which is spicy basically, then you can take the ghee. If you are a vegan, take a olive oil. but make sure is a not chemical. Is make sure it's cold pressed. It's not pasteurized. So if the raw omegas of the oil can be very beneficial for inside, make you just put 2 drops inside the nostril and they just stay there. That will actually help you for any stress, the pressure, the pain. If you feel, if you are meditate, you get lots of pressure and pain here, and sharp pain, dryness inside the nose, and the temple pain. I will recommend to put 2 drops of each nostril and see what benefit it can give it to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And Hari Om, Pranam. We can chant Om together if you like to. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. I hope you enjoy your practice and our conversation. Does anybody have? How do you feel from today? Let me. Hello, everybody at YouTube. Please do find a way to share the video with your friends. Also from Zoom, you can find that video on YouTube. You can just look for my name, you will find it, and you can share it with your friends. And if you like it, you can remain part of it. You can subscribe if you want. Otherwise, not to worry about it. Preferably, if you can do, you will get notification of it. So I will stop at YouTube. Thank you, everyone. If you like the video, maybe you can subscribe it and share it with your friends as well. And just do let me know how you find it. And we can refine the practice to make it more suitable to you.